Chapter 111. Primeval stones are but material goods. Grandma, what goo is this? The young girl curiously pointed at the central counter in the third floor. There were 3 floors in this treehouse. The first floor sold rank 1 goo worms. The second floor sold rank 2 goo worms, and the third floor sold rank 3 goo worms. The higher you went, the lesser the goo worms and the more expensive the price. Naturally, the goo worms that were put for sale in the treehouse were all rare and precious. Gu Yao Ji followed her granddaughter's gaze and saw a round bucket-shaped, tall and thin tree stump. The stump had 5 branches like 5 fingers of a human and were intertwined in the middle. A sphere-shaped goo worm that was thumb-sized was wrapped around by the fine branches and covered by green leaves, emitting a white silvery glow. This is a white-silver relic goo. It can only be used once and can instantly raise a rank 3 goo master's cultivation by a small realm. Gu Yao Ji slowly explained. Relic goo was a series goo worm. Rank 1 had green copper relic goo which was specially targeted towards rank 1 goo masters. Rank 2 had red steel relic goo which was effective only on rank 2 goo masters, and rank 3 was this silver relic goo. Rank 4 had yellow golden relic goo. The price is 30,000 primeval stones. It's so expensive. The young girl was so shocked, she stuck out her tongue. Gu Yao Ji nodded. Its final price should reach at least 50,000 primeval stones. All right, we have strolled long enough here. Let's go to the first floor reception desk. The results to the liquor worm's bidding should have come out. In the treehouse, a rank 1 goo worm would only be displayed for half a day once there was a bid on it. For goo worms that people had little interest in, it would be kept on display till someone made a bid. Rank 2 goo worms would be displayed for a day and rank 3 ones for 2 days. At first glance, this practice looked odd, but when put in practice, this was the most suitable way of doing business. At the reception desk. What? The liquor worm has been bought by someone else. Gu Yao Ji immediately frowned upon seeing the results. She had put a high price and was confident in obtaining the liquor worm, but to think she had actually miscalculated. Who is it to be so bad as to snatch my dear liquor worm? The young girl angrily asked. Yalu, Gu Yao Ji reminded her granddaughter. The young girl pouted and obediently shut her mouth. The sales clerk behind the counter was a rank 2 female goo master. She slightly bowed and answered the young girl. I am sorry, we can't divulge our customers' information. Each business has special rules. Please forgive me. It was this confidentiality that dispelled many customers' apprehensions and allowed them to freely take part in the bid. Sometimes, people would have some things they clearly wanted, but they would yield to others because of feelings and courtesy. After all, they would frequently see each other in the clan, but such a method of doing transactions secretly allowed one to go around the problem of sentiments. Why would such a good thing need to go to you? Because you are my senior, relative, or friend? Never underestimate the dark side in everyone. Such secret transactions allowed this dark side to come out. Gu Yao Ji ruminated for a while and said, I know the rules. You don't need to worry, little girl. I won't ask the name of that person who bought the liquor worm. I only want to know what the final price was. The female goo master bowed again. I am really sorry. The price is also confidential. But please don't worry. The final price was definitely the highest among all the bids. Jia family's business has always centered around honesty. Little girl, do you know who I am? Gu Yao Ji's face sank and coldly snorted. What is going on? At this moment, a rank 3 middle-aged goo master hurried over. This treehouse was constantly being monitored. They would naturally know if anything occurred. Lord Supervisor. The female goo master immediately greeted this middle-aged man. The man waved his hand at the girl. You can leave now. I will handle it here. He turned towards Gu Yao Ji and smiled. So it was Lord Yao Ji. She should be your granddaughter, right? She looked smart and sweet. Gu Yao Ji's expression softened upon seeing that this man was also a rank 3 goo master, but she still asked to know the final price. The male supervisor felt that the situation was rather tricky. He was an elder at the caravan and also a trusted aide of Jiafu. After doing business for many years, he had a deep understanding of the Guyu village's situation and knew the influence this old woman had. To them. Even if they offended Guyu Qi Lian or Guyu Mo Qin, they wouldn't want to offend Guyu Yao Ji. The latter's influence was second only to clan leader Guyubo. The male supervisor pondered and said, How about this? Since Lord Yao Ji wants to purchase the liquor worm, I could call the shots and secretly transfer one over. To be honest, the warehouse has 3 liquor worms and Lord Jiafu personally decides where to sell them. You should know how precious the liquor worm is. As for the price, let's decide your bidding price. Is it? However, Gu Yaoji slightly shook her head and knocked the cane on her hand on the ground. She said, I am not looking for a bargain. The price will be the same as the selling price of the previous liquor worm. This. The supervisor hesitated. He naturally saw Gu Yaoji's aim. Gu Yaoji pretended to be annoyed and continued to pressure the male supervisor. What? Is the price so high that you're afraid I won't be able to afford it? Of course, I didn't mean that. Sigh, all right, we will do like you say. The supervisor sighed and set a price. Upon hearing the price, the young girl first heaved a sigh of relief, but soon after that she felt somewhat indignant. What? It was only 20 primeval stones more than ours. Gu Yaoji narrowed her eyes, but didn't speak. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan had already exited the treehouse and arrived at the wine tavern. The second liquor worm was already in his possession, and now the only things he needed were the 4 types of wines: sour, sweet, bitter, and spicy wines. I already have the sweet wine. There is still quite a lot of the golden honey wine remaining from the family inheritance mission. Spicy and sour wines should not be a problem. My only concern is the bitter wine. Fang Yuan was a bit worried when he thought of this. If he had bitter wine, he could begin refining the 4 flavors liquor worm tonight. Many things in life were like this. Whatever you fear, it will come true. Fang Yuan's worry became reality. He spent several hours rushing through countless tents. He found spicy and sour wines, but he didn't find bitter wine. Not everything in this world follows our wishes. Fang Yuan was very helpless. He could only set aside the fusion plan for the liquor worm. Without the 4 flavors liquor worm, his cultivating speed would be ordinary. In the afternoon, he went to the treehouse again. There were new goo worms and many counters on the first floor. The central counter, where the liquor worm had been displayed, was now occupied by a cleansing water goo. The cleansing water goo resembled the leech on Earth, except it was much cuter than the leech. Its whole body had a light blue luster like that of the glimmering water. Cleansing water goo can remove the mixed aura in the aperture. To Qi Qing, it is a goo worm that he must have. Fang Yuan thought of Qi Qing when he saw this cleansing water goo. He knew Qi Qing only had a C-grade aptitude and had forcefully raised his cultivation with the help of his grandfather Gu Qi Lian's primeval essence. Thus Qi Lian's aura was mixed inside Qi Qing's aperture. If Qi Qing didn't clean it off, then his future prospects would be jeopardized. Qi Lian will definitely buy this goo worm for Qi Qing. Let me think. His quote should be between 630 to 640. This price was much more than the liquor worm's market value. The main reason was that Qi Qing especially required this goo worm. If I quote 650, it should get me this cleansing water goo. Just by adding 10 primeval stones, this cleansing water goo is bound to fall in my hands. As for the liquor worm I bought this morning, my quote should have been about 20 primeval stones higher than Gu Yaoji's. Fang Yuan coldly smiled inwardly. He had this self-confidence. His 500 years of experience and the advanced business knowledge from Earth had combined to form this self-confidence. It was beyond ordinary. With his previous life's experience, when he just put 10 more primeval stones, he had an 80% guarantee of getting the goods. When he bought the liquor worm, the reason why he had put 10 more primeval stones was because of his cautious nature. Fang Yuan didn't make a quote. He didn't need the cleansing water goo. And if he obtained it, then it would be investigated by Qi Lian. Of course, the main reason Fang Yuan did not bid was because he needed to hold on to the remaining money to see if there were any good goo worms in the coming days. I lack 2 types of goo worms, a scouting type and a movement type. The wolf tide will come in the coming year, and the caravan won't come again. Although there is the flower wine monk's hidden inheritance that was hastily left behind by flower wine monk after he was injured. Who is to say if it is complete or not, and what goo worm would be next? In his memories, the wolf tide next year will be very dangerous. Fang Yuan didn't want to be powerless just because he lacked goo worms. Being injured or even perishing in the wolf tide. It would be a disaster for the current him if he were to be surrounded by wolf packs. Before that happens, he needed to make sufficient preparations. Both his cultivation and goo worm shouldn't be lacking. After this, he repeatedly went to the treehouse for 3 days. On the 3rd day, in the first floor of the treehouse, he discovered something to be happy about. A black boar. Goo, black and white boar goo are goo worms that could increase the fundamental strength of goo masters. Fang Yuan had already used the white boar goo and received a power equal to that of a boar. If he used another white boar goo again, he wouldn't receive any increase in strength. But the black boar goo was different. Its ability could overlay with the white boar goos. Hence, at noon, there was 1 more goo worm in his possession. After that, There was nothing. Some scouting and movement-type goo worms appeared on the counters, but they couldn't satisfy Fang Yuan. These goo worms were displayed on ordinary counters, and the price wasn't good, so there weren't many who would purchase them. Fang Yuan heard the caravan would be staying for 8 days, so he patiently waited without becoming anxious. It was the 7th day. In the second floor of the treehouse, Fang Yuan discovered a red steel relic. It could instantly raise a rank 2 goo master's primeval essence by a small realm. Its price was marked at 3,000 primeval stones, attracting many rank 2 goo masters to bid over it. Dropping papers in the counters, it was a very lively scene. If I obtained this red steel relic goo, I could push my cultivation to middle stage instantly. With the middle stage scarlet primeval essence, I would be able to use the moonglow goo and white jade goo many more times. Cultivation was the foundation of a goo master. An increase in cultivation meant an increase in fighting power. In terms of its effects, it was far better than getting the scouting and movement goo worms. Moreover, these 2 types of goo worms in the treehouse were all ordinary to Fang Yuan, with none catching his eyes. I have purchased the liquor worm and black boar goo. I also bought some wine. This red steel relic goo's final price will definitely cross 5,000 primeval stones and could even reach 8,000. After all, everyone knows about the wolf tide, so raising one's cultivation by a small realm will be a lot of help. My primeval stones won't be enough if I want to get this relic goo. Fang Yuan instantly realized that an obstacle had appeared in front of him. Chapter 112. Truly a great resolve. Even though he inherited his parents' assets, to Fang Yuan, the time he had to accumulate wealth was still too little. Activating the vitality leaf, he could not do it daily as it consumed a lot of time. Every time he grew out 9 vitality leaves, half a day would be expended. Fang Yuan considered for a moment. The sale time of this red steel relic goo is only 1 day. In such a short time, to come up with these large amount of primeval stones, the only way was to mortgage his wine tavern or the bamboo buildings. This was nothing to feel pity over. A year later, it would be the wolf tide. Under the wolves' attack, Gyu village would desperately hold on several times, and during the most severe attack, even the front gate was broken through. The clan leader and the clan elders restrained the lightning-crowned head wolf, and Gyu Qingshu sacrificed his own life to block the gate and stabilize the situation. The wolf tide caused Qingmao Mountain's 3 clans to suffer a great reduction in clan members. Although not as much as 90% was gone, but at least half the population was wiped out. By then, there would be more property than people. What talk would there be about renting out the bamboo building? The wine tavern was facing the eastern gates. Who would dare to drink there? Even if they wanted to drink, the tavern would have gotten used by the clan and turned into a defensive tower. Right now, the clan and many people were underestimating the severity of the wolf tide. At this point, if he could get rid of the tavern and bamboo buildings, he would be able to sell it at the best price. Money and fortune are just material goods. Only one's cultivation is the root. But selling it to the clan is too cheap. If I sell it to an individual, the price would be higher. But who would have the financial ability right now to buy my bamboo building and tavern? Such a huge transaction, it is not something that can be settled at one go. Both sides have to observe and haggle for the best prices. That would take too much time. I only have 1 day. Wait, maybe someone can. Fang Yuan's inspiration struck as he thought of someone. This person was none other than his uncle Gyu Dong. Tuesday uncle and aunt were both cunning and miserly. These decades of operating the tavern, bamboo buildings, and selling the vitality leaves, they must have a huge stash of primeval stones. Moreover, these assets were originally operated by them. All in all, it can save a lot of observation time. The most important part was, they desperately needed this family asset to continue operating. No matter how much assets they had, without any income, this was like a river without a source. Their primeval stones would get lesser and lesser. Anyone would also be anxious over it. It could be said, uncle and aunt were the best transaction targets. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan hesitated no longer, leaving the treehouse and walking towards Gyu Dongtu's estate. The one who opened the door was Shen Shui, his former servant. Ah, it's you. Seeing Fang Yuan, she was very shocked. Soon, she realized her slip of the tongue, and her face turned white from horror. Fang Yuan was now a rank 2 Gu master, but she was a mere mortal. The difference between them was like heaven and earth. More importantly, Fang Yuan was the ruthless person who dared to kill the Mo family servant, later mincing the corpse and sending it to the Mo family. This servant pays her respects to young master Fang Yuan. Welcome home, young master. Shui shivered from her fear and her knees went soft, kneeling on the ground. Home. Fang Yuan took a step into the courtyard. Seeing the familiar settings, his face showed a hint of mockery. There was no sense of belonging or attachment. A year later, he had returned here once again. Compared to his mental impression, this place was much more vacant. Just as Fang Zheng had said, some family servants were already sold away or retrenched. Fang Yuan's sudden appearance had alarmed Uncle and Aunt. As the housekeeper, Mother Shen arrived at the first moment. Kneeling and bowing to invite Fang Yuan into the living room and served him tea by hand. Fang Yuan sat on the chair, observing the living room. Many of the furniture was missing, and the decor was much more simple and plain. But this did not mean that Uncle and Aunt had no savings. Gu Dong, too, is still very cunning. This is an act of self-preservation. He had already stepped into the background, and his battle strength had drastically slipped. Most importantly, he had lost the 9-leaf vitality grass, meaning that he had lost the trump card in maintaining his personal relationships, no longer able to exert influence outside. A man's wealth is his own ruin by causing another's greed. After Fang Yuan inherited the assets, many clansmen were jealous and eyed his fortune. As for Uncle and Aunt, they faced the same problem. The huge amount of savings they had was both a blessing and a problem. Not showing off one's wealth to them, this was the correct method of living. At this time, footsteps could be heard. The footsteps got closer, and soon, and appeared at the doorstep. Fang Yuan, you actually still dared to come back here. Seeing Fang Yuan, the rage in her heart appeared out of nowhere, screaming shrilly, "You traitorous scoundrel! How did we raise you? And to think you treat us like this! Do you have a conscience? Has your conscience been eaten by a dog? You still have the cheeks to come here, and have the cheeks to drink tea here? Are you here to see our sorry states? Now that you've seen it, are you happy?" Her finger pointed at Fang Yuan, her other hand at her waist as she screamed like a shrew. If not for Fang Yuan wearing a glaring rank 2 Gu master battle attire, reminding her, she would have pounced on him and strangled him. Fang Yuan paid no heed nor showed any expressions to Aunt's finger or her angry accusations. A year of not meeting, Aunt's yellow face, although full of rage and hatred, could not hide her haggardness. Her clothes had already changed to a simple hemp garment, and the accessories on her head had reduced. Without any makeup, her mouth looked sharp and her face small, like a monkey. Fang Yuan getting back the assets had caused a great influence and impact on her daily life. To her furious bantering, Fang Yuan paid no heed to them. He held up his cup and drank some tea before saying slowly, "My trip here today is to sell the tavern and bamboo buildings. Does Uncle and Aunt have any interest?" "Pa, you traitorous wolf, what good can you have, wanting to sell the tavern and bamboo?" Aunt's tone stalled as she finally reacted, her face showing disbelief. "What? You want to sell the tavern and bamboo buildings?" Fang Yuan put down his teacup, leaning back on the chair, closing his eyes to rest. "Better to get Uncle here to discuss with me." Aunt gritted her teeth, not believing it, her eyes like erupting flames as she stared angrily at Fang Yuan, saying, "I know, you're trying to toy with me. That's why you said that. Once I agree, I will get harshly mocked and ridiculed. You think I'm a fool and would be played by you." This was purely a way of thinking from a person of low social status. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart, before saying one sentence to change his aunt's attitude. "Say any more bullshit and I'm leaving. I believe others would be interested in these assets. By then, I would have sold it to other people, so don't you both regret it." And paused for a moment. "Do you really want to sell these assets?" "I am only waiting for 5 minutes." Fang Yuan opened a slit of his eyes to talk. Before shutting them again, he heard Aunt stomping her foot before a series of quick and softer footsteps. Not long after, Uncle Gu Dong too appeared in front of Fang Yuan, but Aunt did not accompany him. Fang Yuan looked at him. Uncle was already aging extensively, his originally well-maintained face had shrunk, and there was much more white hair on his head now. He had been worrying these few days. Losing the family assets, he lost his financial sources all of a sudden. Without the 9-leaf vitality grass, he also lost his outside influence. His hidden elder title was already falsifying. Although he had a huge amount of fortune in his hands, without his influence, these primeval stones had gotten troublesome. The clan's politics was to encourage the clansmen to compete for resources, especially the rules on Gu fighting. It was inhumane and non-friendly. But this could exterminate parasites and the appearance of a good-for-nothing second generation, allowing the clan's people to maintain a sense of alertness. This also allowed the clan's fighting force to maintain at a strong position. In this world, Only strong fighting force could ensure survival. Tornadoes, floods, and beasts do not speak sense with you. These years, Guyudong too had lived a life of peace, and his fighting ability had diminished. In order to reduce his burden, the goo worms that he used to fight with, he had sold them away already. If someone sent him a challenge now, he would definitely lose more than win. Towards his uncle, Fang Yuan spoke openly about his purpose in coming. Fang Yuan, I shall not beat about the bush. I don't understand something. Why do you need to sell the wine tavern and bamboo buildings? If you keep them, you will have a steady source of income. Uncle could not believe it, but his tone was much more acceptable than aunt's. Because I want to buy a red steel relic goo. Fang Yuan said honestly, there was no need to hide such things. So that's it. Uncle's gaze shone. Then, you are selling the 9-leaf vitality grass too? That is impossible. Fang Yuan shook his head without any hesitation. I am only selling the wine tavern, the bamboo buildings, the land, and the 8 servants. 9-leaf vitality grass was the most valuable thing in the asset. Fang Yuan needed its healing ability as well as selling them to earn primeval stones. It could sustain his cultivation and also feed the goo worms. Furthermore, next year the wolf tide was coming, and the vitality leaves price would soar. With this 9-leaf vitality grass in hand, Fang Yuan would have no problems with primeval stones for his rank 2 cultivation journey. But if Uncle obtains the 9-leaf vitality grass, his hidden elder influence would instantly recover. Fang Yuan did not want to see this happen. Seeing Fang Yuan's determined attitude, Guyudong Tu's heart was very disappointed. At the same time, he felt helpless. The two had a secret talk for 2 hours. Then they signed an extremely secure transfer agreement. Guyudong Tu regained the tavern, bamboo buildings, family servants, and land, while Fang Yuan led 3 family servants who were holding a box full of primeval stones each, towards the treehouse. They each got what they wanted. Hearing the news, Aunt rushed over. Seeing Guyudong Tu's contracts and deeds in his hands, she stared with round eyes and showed overwhelming joy. Hubby, that lad got stupid from cultivating. He actually sold away such a profitable business. So stupid, wanting the eggs and not keeping the hen that lays eggs. Will you die if you stop talking? Shut up. Guyudong Tu sounded very irritated. Husband, and pouted, I'm just happy about it. Do not get complacent. With this tavern and the bamboo buildings, we have to be even more cautious now and keep a low profile. A huge tree attracts the wind. Although Fang Zheng is our adopted son, we cannot misuse this relationship. After all, Fang Zheng has not fully developed himself yet. Who knows what the future entails? Guyudong Tu sighed deeply. Got it, husband. It listened while staring at the stack of deeds, laughing uncontrollably. Guyudong Tu's face was solemn throughout. The transaction went well, and he now had income. The primeval stones he spent would be replenished with 2 or 3 years of operation. But he was not happy at all. His mind was full of Fang Yuan's silhouette. For a relic goo, Fang Yuan unhesitantly sold the assets. This was akin to giving up the comfortable life ahead. Guyudong Tu placed himself in Fang Yuan's shoes and thought, would I be able to do this? I can't. Even if he did not like Fang Yuan, filled with hatred and disgust, at this moment he could not help but exclaim in his heart, able to give up and abandon his future comforts just like that. What great resolve he has. Chapter 113. Keeping quiet and earning a fortune. The competition is really fierce. Who knows who the final winner will be? I have been standing here for just 15 minutes and have already seen over 10 goo masters putting quotes in the counter. This is a game for the rich. People like us don't even qualify to compete. In the second floor of the treehouse, goo masters were surrounding the central counter, discussing and sighing. As night approached, the competition for the red steel relic goo had reached its peak. Many rank 2 goo masters who were observing in the dark started putting their quotes in this final hour. Some goo masters even made several bids. The final winner for this struggle should be either Mo Yin or Qi Shan, someone guessed. That's possible. Mo Yin and Qi Shan are both at rank 2 upper stage. With this relic goo, they can advance to peak stage and be at the same level as Qing Shu. In recent years, Gu Qing Shu has been hanging over their heads. I don't believe these two don't have any thoughts about it. We can't say for sure. It is not only us rank 2 goo masters, there are even some rank 3 elders who have made bids. Just this morning, someone saw Lord Yaoji casting her bid. Right, I also heard that. Lord Yaoji's granddaughter Guyu Yao Lu is taking part in the coming awakening ceremony. Lord Yaoji should be preparing ahead and paving the way for her granddaughter. How good would it be if I had such a doting senior? Fang Yuan was among the crowd. his gaze tranquil as he listened to the discussions. No one had mentioned his name. In the people's eyes, Fang Yuan was only a lucky kid who had just inherited the family assets. In their minds, Fang Yuan was still not at the level of people like Qi Shan, Mo Yin, and Qing Shu. Great. The less attention on me, the more smoothly can I get this red steel relic goo. But with these repeated purchases, I should have attracted his attention. Fang Yuan was 99% sure of getting this relic goo. He began to think of another problem. If the following events develop according to his expectations, then there would be a perfect ending to his several days of effort. It was time. The leaves and branches on the counter suddenly grew and wrapped firmly around the relic goo. The green leaves blocked the people's sight, and when these leaves again unfolded, the red steel relic goo was not there anymore and was replaced by a revert goo. The revert goo looked like a flat, oval, palm-sized stone. Its surface was slightly bulging and smooth, forming an eye pattern. The base of the stone was flat and felt rough to the touch. The stone was black, whereas the eye's pattern was covered with white lines. About every 2 seconds, the eye would blink once, and the white lines that portrayed the eyeball would swivel, giving the feeling that this stone was rolling its eyes. Revert goo had a special function. It decomposed rank 2 goo worm to rank 1. For example, if the revert goo was used on Fang Yuan's white jade goo, the white jade goo would again change back to white. More goo and jade skin goo. This process was called reverse refining. Fang Yuan glanced at it and immediately lost his interest. He didn't need the revert goo. The surrounding goo masters began arguing. Revert goo couldn't become everyone's focal point like the red steel relic goo. Everyone was very curious on who the red steel relic goo went to. Some people looked for the floor's caravan goo master, and some people waited at the main desk. The crowd slowly thinned out, but Fang Yuan didn't move away. Young Master Fang Yuan, please come to the 3rd floor. Our Lord Jiafu would like to have a chat with you. A voice suddenly entered Fang Yuan's ears. Fang Yuan wasn't surprised. There were many types of secret sound transmission goo worms in this world. He followed the directions given by the voice and walked to a wall on the 3rd floor. Branches and leaves stacked together and covered the wooden wall. Swoosh! The branches and leaves automatically parted to the sides and revealed a concealed door. Fang Yuan pushed open the door and saw an exquisite whirling staircase that moved up. He walked along the stairs and came to a small study room. In the study room, Jiafu was handling some accounts, his hand writing away speedily. He raised his head when he heard Fang Yuan's footsteps, revealing the scar on his face. He gave a gentle smile. We meet again, little brother Fang Yuan. Respects to Lord Jiafu. Fang Yuan clasped his hands and saluted. Come, sit here. Jiafu pointed at a nearest desk. After Fang Yuan sat, his left hand pushed a bamboo paper on the desk towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan took a glance and immediately recognized that this bamboo paper held all his quotes that he had made in the recent days. Under every quote was his signature. He was inwardly happy. It had gone according to his expectations. But on the surface, he wore a doubtful expression as he asked, I am not sure what Lord Jiafu wants to show me. Jiafu's smile slightly decreased, his eyes flashing as he looked at Fang Yuan. These are your quotes you made along with the quote you gave for the red steel relic goo. I will be honest, I am amazed at your business talent. Do you know, every one of your bids was very close to the final sale price. Although you only succeeded in buying a black boar goo, a liquor worm, and the red steel relic goo, your quotes for other goo worms only lacked by 10 or so primeval stones. Brother, do you have any interest in working for me? Jiafu tried to recruit Fang Yuan. Here it comes. Fang Yuan laughed inwardly. He had repeatedly made bids these days and had intentionally lost on most of them, his bids differing from the final price by only 10 or so primeval stones. He had only successfully won black boar goo, liquor worm, and red steel relic goo, and just like he wished, Jiafu was interested in the business talent he showed and took the initiative to recruit him. However, in fact, if Fang Yuan wished so, he had almost full guarantee of being able to purchase all the goo worms. Fang Yuan hesitated, then shook his head. I am greatly honored to receive Lord Jiafu's kindness, but I don't want to leave the clan. Oh, so it's like that. Jiafu's gaze flashed. Brother might have some misunderstandings towards me. A year ago, I indeed doubted you, but after using the bamboo gentleman, the suspicions on you have already been removed. Jia Jinshin was my brother. I hope you understand what my mood was like then. There is another piece of good news. I have already invited Divine Investigator Tai Shuelang. There isn't any case which he cannot solve. I believe he will definitely be able to investigate the truth and give justice to you. Divine Investigator Tai Shuelang, this is a problem. Fang Yuan thought over this name. This was not good news to him. In this world, there were many magical places and also many amazing methods that could be used to investigate. When Fang Yuan killed Jia Jinxing, he had only been at rank 1. Even if he knew a lot of methods, he couldn't use them. In his memories, Tai Shuilong had a profound cultivation and wouldn't even tolerate a bit of sand in his eyes. He followed the thought of punishing evil and rewarding the right throughout his whole life. He had an extremely rich sense of justice and his thoughts were meticulous. He was very good at finding subtle traces from any clues. Divine Investigator has a high reputation. I have also heard of him. But when will this Lord Divine Investigator arrive at Qingmao Mountain? Fang Yuan put on an anticipating look and directly asked that. Jia Fu awkwardly smiled. Divine Investigator is very busy. From his reply, it might only be the year after the next. Fang Yuan immediately felt relieved. He had a lot of time to prepare. Brother, I think highly of you. I hope you can carefully consider my proposal. Jia Fu made attractive offers. Fang Yuan tactfully refused. Now is not the best time to leave Qingmao Mountain. If he went to a strange environment without enough strength, he was bound to be bullied and pushed aside. The caravan was also full of unwritten rules on bullying and pushing aside. That is really a pity for your talent. How about this? I will give you this token. If there comes a day where you want my help, this token will be the proof that I will always welcome you. Jia Fu had failed in recruiting Fang Yuan, but he didn't feel surprised. He had a deep understanding towards this type of clan's cohesiveness. If he was to know now that Fang Yuan was Jia Jinxing's murderer, who knows what his expression would be. Fang Yuan apologized in shame as he received the token handed by Jia Fu along with the red steel relic gu. He kept the two items close to him and backtracked his way out. A young female gu master was caressing the leaves on the wall, when suddenly she cried out in shock. The branches and leaves suddenly parted and revealed a door. The door was pushed open from inside and Fang Yuan walked out expressionlessly. You. The young girl widened her eyes and blankly looked at Fang Yuan brushing past her. Among the surrounding gu masters who saw this scene, some were familiar with this, some gave a knowing smile and some threw amazed looks. Fang Yuan paid no heed to these gazes and walked down to the second floor. Some gu masters were still waiting there, excitedly discussing who the red steel relic gu went to. Some people brazenly made guesses whereas some people gave some little news. Mo Yin had a mysterious smile when she walked out of the treehouse. Qi Shan's face was ashen, and so on. And to top it all, some people pledged that so and so had bought the relic gu, even making an oath. Fang Yuan went past this bored group of people. No one knew that at this moment, the red steel relic gu was so close to them. When Fang Yuan walked out of the treehouse, he bumped into Qi Shan. His face indeed looked unsightly, and at his side, Qi Qin was asking about the whereabouts of the red steel relic gu. After seeing Fang Yuan, Qi Cheng snorted and turned his head, intentionally not looking at him. Qi Shan silently nodded his head towards Fang Yuan as a greeting. Fang Yuan also nodded his head as a reply, his face carrying a wisp of smile. The last of the sunshine shone on this young boy's face. He was indeed happy. With the red steel relic gu, his cultivation would instantly advance by a level. And there was also the token. A year ago, Fang Yuan wanted to build a friendship with Jia Jinxing and rely on him to take part in the future large-scale gu fighting competition, reaping benefits in that period of upheaval. Unfortunately, life was unpredictable. The final outcome made Fang Yuan not know whether to laugh or cry. Unexpectedly, he ended up killing Jia Jinxing with his own hands. No matter. Without Jia Jinxing, relying on Jia Fu also worked. This token was equivalent to the admission ticket to the future large-scale gu fighting competition. Chapter 114, Monkey King in the Cave. 3 days after the caravan left the village, in the rock forest inside the mountain, filled with dark red light. Huge stone pillars extended down from the ceiling, resembling long and gigantic tree trunks, forming into a majestic gray-colored stone forest. Fang Yuan was retreating from battle in the rock forest. Chirp, chirp, chirp. A bunch of stone monkeys stared with their green circular monkey eyes, chasing after Fang Yuan relentlessly. Moonglow gu. Fang Yuan called in his mind, his right arm chopping towards the direction of the monkey gang. A PW, an eerie blue moonblade, as large as a face, formed into a crescent and pierced through the air, cutting into the monkey gang. A jade eye stone monkey was jumping in the air, with no foothold to escape on. It was hit directly by the moonblade. Before it could scream, in the next moment, its entire body was split into two from head to toe. It had lost all its remaining life force and was enveloped in a deep aura of death. In a split second, its lively eyes became a pair of jade pearls. As its body descended, it turned into a rock statue. Bam! With a crisp sound, the statue fell onto the ground, smashing into pieces. The moonblade only dimmed a little, and after killing this stone monkey, its force remained as it rushed for the monkeys behind. Kachak! After a few cries, 5 or 6 stone monkeys were killed on the spot. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Their companion's death fueled the monkey gang's rage as they screamed furiously, their influence doubling, imposingly leaping at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was unfazed by the danger, his heart remaining as calm as ice. He fought and retreated appropriately. As the stone monkeys neared, he attacked with the moonblade, the moonlight goo in the past. Even with the boost from little light goo, each moonblade could only kill 1 or 2 monkeys. But now, with one attack, the moonglow goo could kill 5 or 6 stone monkeys. But there were positive and negative impacts. The moonglow goo, to the current Fang Yuan, had a huge cost. Each moonblade used 10% of his red steel primeval essence. Fang Yuan only had 44% primeval C in his aperture. This meant that he could only use 4 moonblades in one go. If I can successfully fuse the 4 flavors liquor worm and refine my primeval essence, I would be able to shoot 8 moonblades. What a pity. Even though I have the second liquor worm and 3 out of the 4 flavors of wine, I am lacking the final one. I'm stuck at the final step. Fang Yuan sighed deeply. 3 moonblades later, his aperture only had 14% light red primeval essence left. To play safe, he no longer used the moonblade, but activated the white jade goo. The stone monkeys encircled him, the closest monkey jumping to Fang Yuan's leg and going into a frenzy. From down to up, it used its monkey head to hit Fang Yuan's chin. Fang Yuan snorted. He wanted to use his fist to crush this overconfident monkey, but suddenly he had a thought and stopped his hand, using his chin to receive the blow instead. A moment before the point of impact, his chin shone with white jade cold light. A loud bam sound resounded. The force of the attack caused Fang Yuan's head to tilt back. But that monkey laid on the ground, hugging its head and rolling around the ground, screaming in agony. Without the white jade goo, Fang Yuan's chin would have been smashed. But now, Fang Yuan only felt slightly dizziness with no injuries. But, even with the white jade goo's defense, he still had to withstand the impact of the attack. Fang Yuan took a few steps back before recovering and seeing the scenery clearly before his eyes again. He had intentionally withstood the monkey's headbutt earlier. It was to have this body get used to such attacks and get used to the slight dizziness. This way, in the future when he falls into a life and death crisis, encountering such an attack, he would be able to recover much more quickly and fight for a survival chance. Fang Yuan was always ruthless with his methods. This ruthlessness was not only towards enemies, but also himself. He came here to kill stone monkeys almost every 3 days. His motive was not just the flower wine monk's strength inheritance, but also another motive, to utilize the stone monkeys to train his own fighting ability. A goo master's physical stats, physical combat proficiency, aperture primeval essence, battle experience, and every goo worm. They were all elements that affected the overall battle strength. Only by gathering all these elements tightly together can one exert the greatest fighting strength. The stone monkey group was like a hammer, and Fang Yuan was the ingot that had just come out of the cauldron. With every hit of the hammer, he would become more sturdy, more refined, and more compact. 15 minutes later, this battle ended. On the ground, there were rock fragments all over the ground, and within those were dozens of jade pearls. I killed 41 jade-eye stone monkeys this time. Fang Yuan counted in his heart, and every time he would collate the battle results. From each battle, he'd reflect upon himself and improve upon what he did not do properly. At the same time, he would feel his own improvement speed. In the earlier battle, the moonglow goo was the most contributing factor, with 3 moonblades killing at least 17 or 18 stone monkeys. That is about half of the entire battle results. The remaining monkeys were all killed by my close combat. Moonlight goo's effect on the stone monkeys was not very obvious. But after advancing to moonglow goo, it jumped to being Fang Yuan's most powerful attacking method. Not only was its attack power strong, but more crucially, its efficiency was very high. Fang Yuan utilized 3 moonblades only in the span of a few breaths' time, but when he used his fists and kicks to smash the stone monkeys, that took over 10 minutes. These stone monkeys were very agile and had swift movements. When the stone monkeys were on the ground, there was no point thinking of hitting them physically. With a jump, they could easily leap away and avoid Fang Yuan's attack. The only weakness was that when they jumped in midair, they couldn't change their moving direction. Fang Yuan being able to kill them was due to this weakness, but this was owing to his rich fighting experience. If it was any other rank 2 Gu master, even Qi Shan, Mo Yin, or Qing Shu, they would not be able to catch the weakness every time like Fang Yuan. His previous life's memories could allow Fang Yuan to sensitively catch the opportunities in battle and seize them. He could meticulously use every ounce of his strength. Even though he was rank 2, he could already utilize his fighting strength to the limit of his abilities. He was definitely not like Fang Zheng, having the Jade Skin Gu, but on the arena after being overwhelmed by Fang Yuan's aura, could not even display his supposed strength. Of course, Fang Yuan's cultivation was still very low, and against the monkey group, he could not overwhelm them by brute force. Every time, he had to fight while retreating. Luckily, the monkeys did not have high intelligence. They could not adjust their attack patterns, and even after seeing Fang Yuan crushing them in midair many times, they still leapt towards Fang Yuan while attacking the same time. Every time they chased Fang Yuan, if it was too far from their homes, their longingness to their homes would overwhelm their anger. Many monkeys gave up on the chase due to this. You are the essence of heaven and earth. Humans are the spirit of all living things. Fang Yuan is relying on the intelligence of humans to understand the stone monkey's habits and using the correct fighting methods to get deeper into the rock forest. At this point, he was already near the central area of the rock forest. After many attempts, Fang Yuan finally exterminated the monkey group on this rock pillar. Right now, in front of him, was the final pillar. It was the largest and thickest rock pillar in this rock forest. The pillar extended downwards from the ceiling, almost touching the ground. It emitted a majestic aura amidst the silence. Fang Yuan counted the number of rock caves on the pillar, getting an estimation of at least 500 stone monkeys. This was the largest monkey group he had encountered up till now. But no matter how many Jedi stone monkeys there were, to Fang Yuan, it was just a small bit of trouble. At most, he'd have to exert more effort and waste a few more trips. What caused his gaze to become serious was the rock cave at the most upper level. The entrance of this cave was larger than any of the surrounding caves, at least twice as large if not more. And below it, the caves were tightly cluttered together, forming and resembling a position where they were worshipping and revering. It seems that there is a monkey king in this rock cave. Fang Yuan frowned. This was where the problem lay. As long as a beast group is large, there would be a beast king created. There was a wild boar king in the wild boar group. Obviously, there would also be a monkey king in the monkey group. The threat of a beast king was multiple times higher than a normal wild beast. The reason was that their bodies had 1 or 2 goo worms inside. These goo had a mutual partnership with the beast kings, and once the beast king is attacked, they would come out and assist. This Jedi stone monkey king should not be very strong, at least weaker than the wild boar king. Otherwise, the surrounding monkey groups would have been under his control already. Fang Yuan, using his experiences, gauged the monkey king's strength. Normally, the bigger the beast group, the stronger the beast king. Weaker beast kings did not have the ability to rule over a large number of its kind. According to the beast group's size and classifying of the beast kings, from low to high, they could be classified as 100 beast king, 1,000 beast king, and myriad beast king. The wild boar king that Sickly Snake's group hunted was 1,000 beast king. It ruled over 1,000 wild boars. The stone monkey king before Fang Yuan was 100 beast king. It only had several hundred stone monkeys under its rule. The culprit behind the wolf tide, the lightning crown wolf, was a myriad beast king. Every single lightning crown wolf ruled over at least 10,000 lightning wolves. The difference in ability between the 3 beast kings were huge. 1,000 beast kings needed 3 teams to cooperate together to be able to barely kill it. The Sickly Snake group was able to deal with the wild boar king, mostly due to it being injured beforehand. A myriad beast king required the clan elders and clan leader to work together to be able to go against it head on. As for 100 beast king, A regular 5-man group would be able to handle it. But for Fang Yuan, who wanted to deal with this Monkey King, he could not borrow outside strength and could only rely on his own power. Rank 2 initial stage primeval essence is ineffective here. Seems it is time to use the red steel relic goo. Fang Yuan eyed the rock cave deeply, then left the second secret room and closed the rock door. If what stands in his way is 1,000 beast king like the wild boar king, Fang Yuan would retreat without thinking. But if it is only 100 beast king, if Fang Yuan had rank 2 middle stage cultivation, he could give it a shot. Of course, the results could go either way. Even with middle stage cultivation, he still had roughly 75% chance of failure, his chances of success not even hitting 30%. Chapter 115. Advancing to middle stage. The translucent light membrane, faint red primeval sea, and the surging waves on the sea surface, 2 fat white liquor worms were absorbing the water. In the air above the sea, a black ladybug-like black boar goo was shaking its wings and hovering around the red steel relic goo. The pebble-like white jade goo had sunk to the depths of the sea and was motionless. Spring-autumn cicada had concealed itself. It was in a deep slumber to recuperate. It is time. Fang Yuan willed. The sea waves paused, and a portion of primeval essence surged up and poured towards the red steel relic goo. The red steel relic goo immediately shook and flew up, giving off bursts of red rays of light. It was like the slowly rising sun, its rays of light shining upon the aperture wall. The rays of light were as hot as fire and as dazzling as a sword. The black boar goo was soon unable to bear it and fell down to the primeval sea. The 2 liquor worms also sunk down to the depths of the primeval sea. White jade goo was flashing inside the sea. For Fang Yuan to advance to rank 2 middle stage with normal methods, he could only use the method of grinding, using his light red primeval essence to cleanse the light membrane aperture wall. But now, red steel relic goo gave off majestic red light which replaced the light red primeval essence and poured directly into the aperture wall, giving astonishing results. Fang Yuan could see the whole light membrane thickening at an astonishing pace. The light on the light membrane condensed into streams of light, gradually changing to a water membrane. The white shimmering rays flowed continuously, becoming clear one moment and dark in the next. Right now, Fang Yuan had advanced to middle stage. However, the relic goo was still bursting with red rays of light. The rays of light filled the whole aperture. It replaced the primeval essence and continuously injected its essence and foundation into Fang Yuan's aperture. The water membrane accepted it all, and the shimmering rays of light on it was like water as it flowed freely. This continued on for about 15 minutes. Red steel relic goo had thoroughly exhausted all its energy. Its body turned transparent and disappeared in the red light. The penetrating red rays of light also suddenly dissipated with its disappearance. The aperture recovered its tranquility once again. However, the water membrane had become much thicker. Using the red steel relic goo had saved Fang Yuan from wasting a lot of time and effort. A thread of scarlet red primeval essence appeared in the primeval sea. This was the rank 2 middle stage primeval essence. It was more condensed than the light red initial stage primeval essence. It sank to the depths of the primeval sea and lingered around the white jade goo. A red steel relic goo could directly strengthen the foundation of the aperture. To a goo master, this meant advancing by a small realm. This type of goo worm was naturally better if used early. To a goo master, higher cultivation meant stronger fighting force, better survival rate, more mission completions, and also more primeval stones earnings. It had a great influence on every aspect. After reaching the middle stage, Fang Yuan took several primeval stones and started recovering his primeval essence. He stopped only after the 44% primeval sea in his aperture had completely filled with middle stage scarlet primeval essence. Half an hour later, he once again stepped into the stone forest. Heading towards the central area, he stepped into the warning zones of the monkey groups. Immediately, furious jade-eye stone monkeys came out of the stone pillars. They screeched and pounced upon Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's expression didn't change. Most of his attention was on that cave at the highest layer of the stone pillar. When encountering a common jade-eye stone monkey, there was no need to be nervous as long as you weren't surrounded by them. The main problem was the stone monkey king. What goo worms resided on it? Fang Yuan didn't know. Fang Yuan slowly retreated while cautiously observing, but the stone monkey king didn't appear. Fang Yuan was baffled. Is there no monkey king in this monkey group? If there was a monkey king, then it would no doubt be the first to come out if someone infringed on its territory. Hold it. Maybe it has already come out. Just as he thought of this, The sleeping spring autumn cicada in his aperture suddenly floated into appearance. Its body was trembling as it gave a weak, startled cry that resonated only within Fang Yuan's mind. The vital goo's warning. This appeared only when the vital goo felt there was an intense threat against the goo master's life. In that split second, Fang Yuan's hair stood up. Without thinking twice, he directly used the white jade goo. A layer of bright white jade light covered his whole body. In the next instant, the Stone Monkey King, who was 3 times bigger than a normal stone monkey, suddenly appeared on the left side of Fang Yuan and fiercely struck out with its sharp claws at Fang Yuan's left shoulder. Bang! The Stone Monkey King's attack was blocked by the white jade goo's defense. Its attack failed. In the instant Fang Yuan received this attack, the white jade goo in his aperture suddenly lit up and consumed 5% of the scarlet primeval essence. If it was when Fang Yuan was at the initial stage, 10% of light red primeval essence would have been used up. From this, one could see how sinister and vicious the Stone Monkey King's sneak attack was. Despite Fang Yuan having a calm character, he couldn't help breaking out in cold sweat at this moment. If it were not for him sharpening himself these days and polishing his condition to a peak combat state, he might have really been hit by the Stone Monkey King's attack. Had his reaction been just a bit late, his left shoulder would have become crippled and unusable. Fang Yuan would then end up miserable just like Gu Man sure not long ago. There is actually a wild concealing type goo worm residing in this Stone Monkey King. Fang Yuan hurriedly retreated. He had no way to detect a concealing goo worm and ended up in disadvantage all of a sudden. The Stone Monkey King seemed to be more cunning than normal stone monkeys. After its attack missed, it again hid itself away. This undoubtedly was a huge mental pressure on Fang Yuan. He used the white jade goo to form a defense around his whole body. Such a method used primeval essence every moment, and it was impossible for him to maintain this defense, even when he had fought with the Stone Monkey troops before. He would only use the white jade goo at the crucial moment. If he continued to maintain this state, then his primeval essence would completely dissipate not long after. Over 500 stone monkeys encircled Fang Yuan aggressively. Fang Yuan used his greatest speed to retreat and pull some distance. Some stone monkeys' momentum became weaker, whereas some stomped on the ground and began to head back to their homes. Chirp. Right at this moment, the Jade-Eye Stone Monkey King appeared and commanded in a loud voice. Chirp, chirp. The stone monkey groups immediately responded. Their confusion and hesitation disappeared and again started their chase after Fang Yuan. Over 500 Jade-Eye stone monkeys were persistently chasing after him, but Fang Yuan didn't panic, his lips revealing a cold smile. On the contrary, this accident was already in his expectations. He had chosen the easiest route towards the central area of the stone forest, opening up a passage. In the surroundings of the passage were large numbers of stone monkey groups. Fang Yuan was very familiar with this passage. However, with the low intelligence of these stone monkeys, how could they know? Under the supervision of the Stone Monkey King, they stormed through the stone forest, infringing on other monkey groups' warning zones and resulting in counterattacks from the other monkey groups. The stone forest was in a great chaos. Countless Jade-Eye stone monkeys stood at their place, starting a massacre to defend their homes. In 10 or more years, the Stone Monkey King might even advance to become a 1,000-beast king and completely unify the stone forest. But now, it was only a 100-beast king and didn't have the ability to control so many stone monkeys. The different groups of stone monkeys fell into a chaotic battle with each other. For a moment, all Fang Yuan could hear was the screeching and screaming sounds of the stone monkeys. Those 500 stone monkeys that were chasing him were quickly entangled with the other stone monkey groups. But the Stone Monkey King still persisted on chasing after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was attacking and retreating. In this period of time, he suffered many sneak attacks from the Stone Monkey King, and every attack would consume great amounts of his primeval essence. Luckily, he had advanced to middle stage before this. Otherwise, with the initial stage primeval essence, he wouldn't have been to handle this consumption. Fang Yuan landed in absolute disadvantage. He had not found any weakness in the Stone Monkey King. The only chance to attack lay in the moment the Stone Monkey King was about to attack. But even if Fang Yuan was able to react, he had no time to even make an attacking movement. The Stone Monkey King possessed a concealment-type goo worm and firmly held the initiative. It could attack Fang Yuan whenever it wanted to attack. Even if Fang Yuan injured it, it could use the concealment-type goo worm to safely escape. It was in an invincible position. Without a stealth removal goo worm, the probability to win this battle is extremely low. If I had a wide area attacking method, maybe I could give it a try. But Moonglow Goo, I will only be able to hit this stone monkey king if I am lucky, but the probability is too low. Fang Yuan clearly understood the battle situation and immediately retreated. However, the stone monkey king seemed to be determined to kill him. Fang Yuan retreated to about 100 meters from the rock door when he suddenly stopped. I only have a bit over 10% of my primeval essence remaining. It won't be enough to cover this 100 meters of distance. And even if I am able to enter the second secret room and close the rock door, this stone monkey king might just break the door. Fang Yuan had thought that the stone monkey king would give up after chasing him for such a long period of time. Yet who could have thought that it still persisted on chasing him? He was already out of the stone forest now, and around him was a patch of empty ground. Countless stone monkeys were fighting chaotically in the stone forest, causing an uproar. Their noisy sounds kept on echoing within this empty space. Fang Yuan didn't budge. His battle intuition told him that the stone monkey king was hiding somewhere, waiting for him to show a gap before making a fatal attack. Fang Yuan knew he had already fallen into an impasse. Normal rank 2 Gu masters would have already fallen apart from this fear, unable to endure this formless pressure. But Fang Yuan was still calm. This situation was also within his expectations, though its probability was very low. According to logic, the stone monkey king should also possess the stone monkey's habits and be reluctant to leave its home. But for some reason, this stone monkey king was hell-bent on chasing and killing Fang Yuan. If you choose to take a risk, you need to be willing to risk your life. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He then took off his upper garment.